Yo, what is going on, everybody? Carnage back here again, and today I am back with a new pickup video. So my comic shop guys were nice enough, gave me, uh, this week's stuff last week, if that makes sense. Just because, they're cool guys like that. Didn't post it in the next video, or in the last video, I mean, because I didn't want them getting in trouble for, giving them to me early, but, since that's passed, I don't think they'll get in trouble for it, and just to be fair, I did not read any of these, so I don't know what happens in any of them. So hopefully that makes up for it, but probably not. Either way, starting off with one of the weaker DC titles that I've been reading, in my opinion. This is Absolute Power tie-in Batman number 152, and fully honest, since the failsafe arc, it's just been kind of going downhill in my personal opinion for this series. Still reading it just because, it's going to change at some point, and then I'm going to be like, I kind of regret not getting, into it and reading it at that time, which is kind of what happened, because I read the entirety of Joker War, which was like issue like 95 to like 101 or something. Got all of those and then just stopped reading, and then so many cool things happened, and then the failsafe arc, and then I had to go back and buy basically all the issues after that. So just kind of keeping with Batman for now, and you can never really go wrong with Batman, in my opinion. The next one up, one of the best covers for this series, in my opinion. This is the Incredible Hulk number 16, Legacy 797, for those of you who, go by the Legacy number. Really beautiful looking cover. And this one, plus the previous issue, go in depth into a completely different Hulk. I think it's called the Green Sun, or something like that. I just know it's Green something. But basically, we're going back to the original one before the Incredible Hulk was created. And basically, this is like a demonized version of the Hulk. Or at least that's what it kind of looks like. But either way, it's just badass and a really interesting story. I know a lot of people don't really dig this kind of, gruesome horror thing, but if you are into gruesome horror, kind of like me, you would really enjoy this series. So I do recommend you guys check this out. Also, the cover is just always amazing, man. Next one up, one of my personal favorites. A little behind on this series, but amazing cover. This is Tom King's The Penguin. Let me just say, Tom King kills it every time when he writes something. And let me just say, this cover, phenomenal. Like, I always go for the variant, or at least try to go for the variant if there's a variant for this series. Just because I wasn't a huge fan of, the main cover for most of them. But this one, phenomenal. Really digging this one. Really do like the outline of the penguin and then, just seeing everything. Especially the fact that Batman's just holding him by his neck in this specific image. That's pretty fun. Really cool. Also a pretty good series if you guys haven't checked it out, so I do recommend you check it out. This next one, another one I'm kind of behind on, but only by, this issue and issue 10. This is Dan Slott's Spider-Boy. Really digging this storyline. It's a very kid-friendly Spider-Man book, if you ask me. Amazing story, pretty interesting storyline behind it, too. Dan Slott's definitely doing very well with this. And let me just say, for those of you who haven't been reading, I do recommend you check this out. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, but I know he did first appear in a series called Spider-Man. I believe it went from 2020, I want to say maybe tail end of 2022 to early 2023. I might be mistaken about that, but I know it was maybe 7 or 8 issues long, and introduces him. So it's pretty cool if you want to learn more about the character. This next one up is kind of like a part 2 to the Incredible Hulk annual that came out the previous week. I haven't been collecting any of these, but I can't not get the Incredible Hulk and Moon Knight, just because those are two of the ones I've been really digging. I also did pick up the Thor one, and the Thor one was alright. It was a little cheesy, if you ask me, but, you know, pretty cool. In the previous one, we find out Colleen Wing, this girl right here, basically she is now in charge of the Mind Stone. And that's pretty cool, just because, Colleen Wing's basically like a street-level hero. So it's a really interesting take, and kind of curious to see what they're going to do with that. And I do apologize if that was kind of like a loud noise. And next up, one of my favorite series going on at the moment. This is Daredevil issue number 13 by, I always forget his first name, but it's Ahmed. And the cover is done by John Romita Jr. And I'm not a huge fan of John Romita Jr.'s art, but let me just say, this is a good one. Really cool looking one. Like this one and his Bullseye one that he did for issue number 11, I want to say. Those two are definitely my favorite from the series. Like, I didn't even pick up issue number 1 to this series main cover, just because I did not like it at all. Like, nothing against him, but his art is just personally not for me. Alright, and those were the ones that I picked up from my comic shop that's about 3 hours away. And then the rest of this was mostly, like, dollar books slash, a handful of ones that, I didn't really feel like pulling at my comic shop. That's 3 hours away. The first one up, I don't remember if I picked up issue number 3 or not, and truthfully, I haven't really read this series. I've been kind of slacking on it. But this is My Adventures with Superman. I've been really digging the show. I just have not, been, reading the book, which is weird because I really do like the show. I forget his first name, but the guy who plays Huey, Jack Quaid, I want to say. Might be wrong about that. But Jack Quaid killing it as Superman, really digging it. It's a very good show too, so I do recommend you guys check it out. It is on season 2, I believe, at the moment. Yeah, season 2, because I just finished season 1 and started watching season 2, but with the fact that I was not paying for, HBO, my roommate was, and since I moved out with them, I no longer have it. So kind of missed out on watching it. Anyway, Venom War Spider-Man issue number 2. Really good series. Been really enjoying this one. Did read this one. This one was pretty good. There's like a giant symbiote octopus type thing, which was pretty cool. We see Mary Jane, using more of her powers, which is kind of cool, but I'm still not a huge fan of the whole jackpot thing. It's not a terrible thing, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. This one I actually picked up today because I totally forgot that it came out this week. This is Venom War issue number 2, and I really loved the first one. This is done by, I think it's done by Al Ewing. I might be mistaken, but I don't remember anyone else's last name ending in Ewing. But if I'm wrong, just leave a comment down below. I really enjoyed the first issue, and this is basically going to be like Eddie Brock versus Dylan Brock, the two main Venoms at the moment. And I haven't been reading the main Venom series. Probably should have. I know I picked up the first couple issues of it and then just kind of stopped. But regardless, definitely going to be trying to catch up on that at some point. But let me just say, this series, pretty good so far. Haven't read the second issue, but very excited to figure out what happens in it. And this next one, kind of a weird one to come out in, early September. But it ends in October, which makes sense, I guess. But I mean, here's Marvel Zombies Dawn of Decay. Read the first issue. Really digging it. And it does center around Groot infecting people with, some... I don't know what the best way to describe it. Like a fungal infection, because they're kind of covered in mushrooms and stuff. But pretty interesting story, if you ask me. Really enjoyed the first issue, and it's going to be a really interesting team-up, because Groot and the Hulk are teaming up in this, and Groot has to basically get the Hulk, aka Dr. Banner, to Avengers Tower to, at least try to create a cure, which pretty cool, if you ask me. And something I did realize about the book, they did kind of base the characters off of the MCU costumes, which I thought was kind of an interesting take. I can't say I've seen that in a comic book for a while. So very, very refreshing to see something like that. And then, personally, my opinion, the best book, and I don't mean that as a joke, like the legitimate best book to come out this week is Ultimates number 4. And this is the variant edition. When I looked it up, it was called the Special Variant Edition, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. Basically, what happens in this one, we learn about the history of this Doctor Doom, which is Reed Richards in this universe. And let me just say, it was phenomenal. I loved it. Like, and I repeat, every page kept me, hooked. And also, this cover, just amazing in general, too. Like, and I don't mean this as a joke, like, I don't get a lot of books slabbed, but this might be one I do get slabbed. Just because it's an amazing cover, beautiful book, amazing story on the inside as well, I might add. Like, this and the main cover, both phenomenal. And the main cover is basically Doctor Doom's mask with the Fantastic Four mice, is what I'm calling them. Just imagine mice with, like, the Fantastic Four powers. Such an amazing cover, too. And let me just say, really, 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 really excited to see what happens next in that series. Alright, and that was basically it for everything that came out this week. And now, going on to the dollar books. Like, there was, like, 2 of them, maybe 3 of them that were not $1, but they were, like, most was, like, 4, which, I mean, basically retail price for books. The first one up is actually a new copy of Exiles issue number 60, because, as you know in one of my previous videos, the copy I picked up was kind of, not being held on at the Staples, which is something I should have probably looked at a little harder before, buying it, but I mean, I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I was just like, oh damn, that's a lot of Exiles that I really, really need for my collection. Just because Exiles is such an interesting storyline, in my opinion. But anyway, picked up a new issue of that, and they did have a lot of Exiles there. It's just more the fact that, didn't really want to spend all my money on just Exile books. But I did pick up a couple, and the other one I picked up was issue number 85, and this is basically like an Exiles team made up of Wolverine variants. This is Patch, Days of Future Past Wolverine, James Howlett, aka First Wolverine, Weapon X, we all know who that is. This one right in the back right here, his name is Albert. He's basically like a cyborg Wolverine that was made to kill the actual Wolverine. And then we have the best one, in my opinion, we have Zombie Wolverine. Let me just say, one of my favorite versions of Wolverine. Really, really do like the zombie universe as well. Which reminds me, at that comic shop as well, they did also have the first appearance of Marvel Zombies, well, first cameo appearance, and then first full appearance, which is Fantastic Four issue number 20. I know it's like early 20s. I can't remember if it's 22 or 23. But either way, they had that there. Very, very, very excited about it. Alright. Now, this one I picked up just because I've been trying to get every single issue from Battleworld. And those of you who do not know what Battleworld is, basically, they had this event called Secret Wars in 2015, where they basically got rid of everything, and then just mashed it all into one planet, everything that was left over. This is one of them. I do not know anything about it. I truly didn't even remember this one until I saw it in the dollar bin, which this one's actually pretty cool because this is a 50-cent book, which, I mean, 50 cents for a modern book, not going to say no to that, along with it being something that I do need to complete out the Battleworld stuff. And also, fun fact about the Battleworld stuff, it was actually one of the, when I started collecting, that was the big thing going on. So I think it would be cool to get every single issue of, something that basically got me really, really into comics. That, and also I really enjoyed the Donny Cates Venom run. I picked up issue number 1 of that. missed everything else because I did not live near a comic book store at the time. But enough of that. Going back to the books, I then found issue number 3 of A-Force. This was pretty cool. Really do like this cover too. And I know they did have this one plus the variant to it, which, I mean, originally I didn't even see this one. I just saw the variant. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll still get it just to read it. But then I found this one, and that was pretty cool. And then going along with that, the same thing happened with this one. Found the variant first, and then, I found the actual cover. This is issue number 4, and this is actually a bit of a key. This is where they actually refer to themselves as A-Force for the very first time. Very, very cool. And I do have issue number 1 to this series, and it's like a $20 book, but I have a high feeling that it's gonna, blow up a little bit if they ever do like an A-Force thing, because I know they do have She-Hulk at the moment and Captain Marvel, so I don't know if they're going to do anything with that, or if they're just going to kind of leave it there. But really love this cover too. Lady Loki on the front, just gorgeous. And I should mention, probably should have mentioned that before I started, going through it, but this last little bit is basically just Secret Wars based. Alright, these first 2 were actually not dollar books. They were actually basically cover price, which kind of stupid, but whatever. Basically, they were the last 2 for this set I needed, and I was like, why not? But here is Armor Wars issue number 2, and then Armor Wars issue number 5. And let me just say, it kind of sucks if they were full price, but I mean, not gonna complain. I did find issue number 1 a few months back, so like I said, not gonna complain. Very happy that I can finally finish off the story. And then I found these 2 in the dollar bin. This is issue number 3. A little bit of a messy cover in my opinion, especially right there, but pretty cool. Really happy with that. And then here is the last book that was also in the dollar bin. Armor Wars issue number 4. Let me just say, this is a very, very cool menacing cover. I think that might be Arno Stark. I might be wrong about that. But let me just say, such a cool cover. I really do like the Iron Man 2020 design on it as well. That's pretty cool. Well, yeah, that was basically everything I have for you guys today. So I just want to say thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, huge shout out for getting me to 470 subscribers. Did not expect to ever, hit that milestone in my life while doing this. So I just want to say thank you all for doing that. And I'll definitely be doing, like, a personal thank you video later, but just thought I'd give a little shout out to you guys right now. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Love you. Peace.